Okay, we are going to do the corrections for the assignment. Now, keep in mind, these questions are a little bit tricky. So make sure that you understand how I got these calculations. If you need any extra help, please email or message me and I'll go through them with you one-on-one. So, number one, a cone with a base radius of 8 millimeters and a height of 10 millimeters. Now be careful because it's given us the height and not the slant height. Now remember that the formula for a cone for surface area, so surface area of a cone, is pi rs plus pi r squared, okay? Where pi is equal to 3.14, r is equal to the radius, and s is equal to the slant height. Okay, so height and slant height are different, and I'm going to explain what I mean by that. So if I were to draw a cone, okay, so I have my radius and I have my height. So the height is, I'm just going to get a different color, from the apex, which is the point, down to the base, okay? So this is the height, okay? And what we need is the slant height. So we need this right here, which is our slant height, okay? Now, if you guys remember the Pythagorean theorem, okay, so a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, okay? A is our radius, B is our height, and C is our slant height, okay? So I can find my slant height by plugging in those numbers. So I have the radius. The radius is 8 millimeters, okay? So A is 8 squared plus my height is 10 squared is equal to C squared. So 8 squared is 64 plus 100 is equal to C squared. Okay, so 64 plus 100 is 164 is equal to C squared. So I need to take the square root. So if I square root C, it gets rid of that. Then I need to square root 164. So the square root of 164 is 12.8, okay? So the slant height is going to be 12.8 millimeters. Now I can plug in the numbers into my formula to figure out what my surface area of the cone is, okay? So I've got pi rs plus pi r squared, 3.14 times 8 times 12.8 plus 3.14 times 8 squared, okay? And I know 8 squared is 64 because I did it over here, so I could even just replace this with 64, okay? So if I do these multiplications, 3.14 times 12.8 times 8 gives me 321.54 millimeters squared plus 3.14 times 64 gives me 200.96 millimeters squared. If I add those two together, I get 522.5 millimeters squared as my surface area, okay? So again, watch whether or not it gives us the slant height or the height in order to be accurate with our calculations, okay? Number two, a square-based pyramid with side 18 centimeters and height 12 centimeters. So again, remember that the surface area of a pyramid is equal to the area of the base plus the area of all triangles. Okay, here my base is a square because it says a square-based pyramid. So I know that the area of a square is side squared, okay? And the sides are 18, so it's going to be 18 squared, okay, plus the area of the triangles. So 18 squared is 324. And again, that's centimeters, so it's going to be centimeters squared. Now I can find the area of my triangles, okay? So the area of a triangle is equal to base times height divided by 2, okay? And I'm going to have 4 triangles because with a square-based pyramid, remember that we have 1 triangle per side of the base, okay? So I'm going to have 4 triangles. So my base is going to be 18 because it's a square, so all my sides are the same length. So I'm going to have 18 times 12 centimeters is my height divided by 2. So 18 times 12 is 216. I'm just going to put this over here. Divided by 2 is equal to 108 centimeters squared. Now remember, I have to add the 2 together. So I'm going to have 324 plus 108, which is going to give me a total surface area of 432 centimeters squared. Okay. Moving on to number 3, a cone with a base diameter. Now remember, I have diameter here of 12 feet and slant height. So they're giving me the slant height of 10 feet. Again, the surface area of a cone is equal to pi rs plus pi r squared. Okay, remember that radius is half of the diameter. So pi is equal to 3.14. Radius is going to be 6. And my slant height is 10. Okay, and this little symbol, remember, means feet and feet. So my units are the same, so I don't need to worry. Okay, then I can plug this into the formula. So I've got 3.14 times 6 times 10 plus 3.14 times 6 squared. Okay. Now 6 squared is 36. Okay. So I can just either put that up or, okay. Now if I do my multiplications, I've got 3.14 times 6 times 10 gives me 188.4 square feet. Okay, plus 3.14 times 36 gives me 113.04 feet squared. Add those up. And my total surface area for this cone is 301.44 square feet. Okay. And last but not least, I have a slant height of 51 inches and a height of 45 inches. So again, I'm going to need my Pythagorean theorem in order to find what my radius is. Okay, so again, I can draw this out. So now they're giving me my height. Okay, so they're giving me my B. Okay, so B is going to equal height, which equals 45 inches. Okay, and they've given me my slant height, which is C. Okay, so C equals slant height, which equals 51 inches. Okay, and so now I'm looking for A, which is my base, okay, which is going to be my radius. So A equals the radius. Okay, so if I write down my formula, A squared plus B squared equals C squared, I'm going to have to manipulate this formula because I currently have A squared plus 45 squared is equal to 51 squared. Okay, so I need to move these around. Now remember, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So if I subtract 45 squared, Then I need to subtract 45 squared here. This will cancel out, and my new formula is a squared is equal to 51 squared minus 45 squared. Okay, so 51 squared is equal to 2,601. 45 squared is equal to 2,025. So if I subtract these, 2,601 minus 2,025, that gives me 576. Now I need to do a square root for a, square root here, right? This will cancel that off, and I'll have a equals 500, the square root of 576. So I can square root 576, which gives me 24. So a equals 24 inches, okay? So now I have my radius. My radius is equal to 24 inches. So now I can solve for the surface area of the cone, okay? So surface area of a cone, remember, the formula is pi rs, which is slant height, plus pi r squared, okay? So I can plug everything in. So I've got 3.14 times my radius, we found that out, is 24 inches, times my slant height, they already gave that to me, which is 51, plus 3.14 times, now r squared, okay, I know what r squared is because I had to find the square root of it, so 576. And then I can multiply everything together. 3.14 times 24 times 51 is equal to 3,843.36 plus 3.14 times 576 is 1,808.64. Add those two together, and I get 5,652 inches squared. Okay, so squared inches. So here is my answer. Again, if you guys have any questions, you want more practice, you want me to explain things again, please let me know. Reach out to me. If not, hopefully it all makes sense, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye.